All right, Podstache number 4 of the day, which is 4. And we've just been in a car discussion,
Car
which we're going to
Conspiracy
continue.
Part 2.
Which we'll be continuing now. So, Brian, what were you saying about that?
Fuck. Oh yeah. The reason I wasn't even sure if I really wanted to get into knowing how much auto parts are marked up drives me fucking bonkers.
Everything's marked.
Well, when you buy them from a shop, it's substantially more expensive.
Because having a buddy who works on a car, he'll usually get it for close to cost, and then maybe a step above that, you'll have a mom and pop tire shop or something like that, and they definitely charge a markup, and then God forbid you're one of those people who
go to the dealer,
to your dealer. Yeah. I haven't done that.
Well, they put
never done
premium parts in there. That's why.
Yeah, well, no, I can totally explain this.
Sweat in my eye and it burns.
Say your buddy who just works out of his garage. And even the mom and pop auto places, they usually charge they charge you what parts actually cost. It's, with how you save money with the dude in his garage is that he'll usually charge you for way less for labor.
Right.
And then with the mom and pop place, obviously they charge you a little bit more for labor. With dealerships, a lot of times, let's say, because I have a Honda, if I go to a Honda dealership, they're going to use genuine Honda parts, which are going to be more. They're not going to go to AutoZone and just get the DuPont part or whatever.
Out of a car.
Yeah.
Awesome. Are those parts better?
What, the genuine things?
Yeah. Or is it just a name that you're paying for?
Because that's how it always is.
It depends, but it depends. But a lot of the time, it's the name.
Is a pair of Levi's jeans better than a pair of no-name brand jeans? You're paying for a name.
Well, and sometimes it also just depends on the my cord's going to. Then sometimes it just depends on the warranty that comes with it,
right? And there's an example. I'm going to go into the food industry here a little bit, but if you go and buy Market Pantry milk, it's Prairie Farms milk. If you go to buy Meyer milk, it's Dean's milk.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yep.
So,
because the one thing that he was saying, I'm not going to drop names or anything. Because the one. Oh, fuck, what was the fucking point I was going to make? Horse shit. Oh, no, because I went to, because it was making a weird fucking noise, so I took my truck to Merlin.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we'll look at it. I'm like, hey, get me an estimate, because I can't pay for this shit today. I'm a fucking broke musician. So they gave me this estimate. And it was sure as shit. It was close to $2,000 fucking dollars, and it was fun. So I came back here, and Murph, who kind of knows his way around car parts, he looks at the list and he just starts laughing. He's like, "Dude, this is." Yeah. He's like, "This doesn't cost this much. This doesn't cost that much." Right. And it's just
it depends on where you get it at too. Yeah. It all depends on where you're going and what you're getting it from. When Chrysler died, I found an engine for $500, and any shop, even the scrap yard. Because any scrapyard around here worth their guff, they'll find you an engine and put it in for you too. But at the same time, any of those engines I found at a scrapyard was $1,000 and $1,000 installation.
And that's the other thing my buddy was saying.
The installation sucks, but an engine like that I found for $500 with 20,000 miles.
Yeah, well,
that's not from an online shop, so you can find the shit cheaper. It just depends on who's selling it and how they got it. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not the shade the most legit, but at the same time, it's.
But I think that's another example where, yes, parts are available and they're cheap. It's the labor that kills you.
But
you can buy an engine,
and I'll tell you what too. I mean, labor. I think that's the most legitimate one. I think labor. To pay people what they need to get paid. I think is a right.
Well, that's a skill. That's a skill,
right? Sure. But just straight up markups. Another example, medical industry. My dad had to go get an X-ray, and if he were to do it through his normal provider, it was going to be $2,000. But if he went through the side company where he was just going to pay cash, it was $500.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just. I get the whole markup thing. I mean, that's just business. That's what makes the world go round. But it's just when some of these companies, whether it be the food industry or the auto industry, or even a real for a while when you and Greg were doing the hookah reviews, how much this shit is marked up. It's just it's so stupid. Why are we? It just seems like we have such a fucking boner just to one up each other and just get rich quick.
Well, no matter what, there's a couple things that you got to think about too. I mean, there's some costs that you're not necessarily knowing about. And some is just straight up markup. Some is just straight up markup, and there's other things that there's backup costs. Like for me, like any product that I choose in Target, right? Any product that I try to put on percent, it's roughly a 25% markup. If I go below 25%, like say if I want to put it on sale or something, that's when we start losing money. The reason it's that expensive is because you got to think about the cost it is for them paying people to put the product together, how much it physically costs with man hours plus the materials plus this, then transportation to where it's going. There's all those little things.
Everything you're talking about is manufacturing. Car parts, hookahs, tires. Fast food's got to be processed, and that's man labor that the company has to pay for. I mean, you talked about transportation costs. Look at something like Alaska or even Hawaii. You're gonna pay $10 a gallon of milk in Alaska because the transportation costs, and that's legit markup. And so transporting like solid objects is a little bit easier, like a car part. You don't have to keep it temperature controlled. But for like food and stuff, that's a legit markup because you don't want your milk coming in warm 3 days after it was fucking processed.
Right.
So I mean, it varies from product to product, I'd imagine.
Well, and a while ago, I read an article concerning this, dealing with the photography world, and basically this one woman emailed this photographer like, "Oh my God, why do you charge so much?" Because I mean, if you look up wedding photographers, I mean, they can charge quite a bit of money,
right?
Oh yeah.
So basically, this dude wrote an article and also responded to the woman by basically saying, "Look, the reason why I charge this much is, one, with the wedding, I'm going to be there for a couple of hours." Which obviously that's put in the cost. But the other thing is that, like, I need to have a laptop that can handle, these files. So, a laptop can cost like $2,000. And then the camera I have is, since you want the best photos, I have, the best camera. So that costs, $5,000. Well, probably more like $4,000 nowadays, And
then you need lenses.
Well, yeah, and I was about to say, Koopa can tell you that, like, the top of the line lenses, just one can cost like $2,000.
Right.
So, and obviously you need it, if you're going to be running around a wedding, you need some for, close and far, and then not to mention flashes and your car to get there. So, yeah, just all these things just to. Basically, all the equipment that you use in just one day's work can cost like thousands of dollars.
Right, and then the other thing that they don't think about is that if you are making a living doing this, you're not doing this every day 9 to 5. You're not paying me to do this 9 to 5. You're paying me to do this for one specific event, which means in order for me to make a living, I've got to mark it up just a little bit so that I got to get paid a little bit more per hour to do this. And it's a stressful event, and there's a lot of things going to it. When I did that camera equipment that I had when I was younger, when we did Burrito Man and stuff, that was all for wedding videos and stuff, and that was $15,000 of equipment.
We filmed Burrito Man with it.
So Burrito Man had a budget of $15,000.
Yeah, it's just,
that's kind of depressing.
Most expensive solo cups ever.
Yeah, like some stuff I get it, but then other stuff like I know, like some companies, like they mark up their musical instruments.
Oh, big time,
big stuff. But like,
at the same time, you're talking. I mean, anything like that, you're still talking about something that's manufactured more often than not. If you're paying for a name, you're paying for a precision manufacturing process. Because you can't like for a drum, you can't just slap together a piece of wood, bend it, and sell it. A guitar, you can't just slap a neck on a piece of wood and have it be good. There's specific parameters those have to. I'm not saying. I'm saying. I mean, I agree. Shit's expensive.
Yeah, well, but like it's like with some companies like DW, I get it because like there's definitely it's almost like an art,
Yeah, right.
But then there's also these other companies where I know for a fact they get their wood from fucking Taiwan,
right?
And they're charging over $1,000 for a kit.
Then you're talking the manufacturer. Like I said, there's precision, there's parameters that the drums have to fall into, there's specs they have to fall into, and that requires a certain machine. Manufacturing machines, man, I had no idea how much they cost until I started working in the field and looking at some of this shit, man. I mean,
but it's not like they're buying a new machine every time they make a drum.
No, but you have to recoup the cost of that machine at the same time. Like a machine. Like a very simple
lifespan.
Oh, exactly. I get some emails at work from companies that sell manufacturing machines just because I'm on the spam list sometimes. But like one of them was for a tumbler to dry out like wet materials and spin them and dry them. And it's just a tumbler. It's probably this big by this big, and it runs on like a 3-stage motor. and it costs $50,000. You know, for a machine like that, and you're a company that you need to be able to dry these goods that are wet, like, you know, you're drying grain or you're drying, like, you know, wood chips or something like that in a tumbler, you need that machine. And that machine was assembled for that purpose. You pay $50,000 for it, you've got to recoup your cost on that. You can't just go around saying, well, we'll just charge them 10% above cost to make our money back. It'll take you years, and you'll go out of business before then. And that's what sucks. I mean, like, I'm not saying it's good and right, because down the entire line is people marking their product, everything up, down the whole line. And I mean, like, as it says, shit rolls downhill. And it all goes back to you, the consumer, paying the highest cost out of everything. And that's just the shittiest part about it, you know?
Right.
It's just, it almost seems like we're just way too willing just to kind of give in to these markups and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, I know, like I said, like, I know that's just the way it kind of needs to be, but, like, I don't know, just, you know, because of that, that's like, I don't know, like inflation.
But I mean,
and, you know, supply and demand, blah, 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 you know.
There's also the other side where stuff's way cheaper than it should be. You know, like a cheeseburger at McDonald's is 99 cents, or actually it's probably cheaper than that.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about of all like the fuel costs it gets to like move the materials around, and then to you know, pay the people to you know.
Right. And the reason they have countless documentaries now about that, and what they do is they're cutting corners, and it's because people demand it. I mean, like, we demand that certain things have to be a lower cost.
We need 5 million cheeseburgers a day sold from one location. You know?
Well, that, and I think with, you know, the drum company that sells stuff from Taiwan, that, and I'm sure a little bit of it is just, you know, they set it at a certain price and people bought it. So like, oh shit, we can get away with this. All right, let's keep doing this.
Yeah, well, and I think that's the point that I'm trying to make. It's just lots of companies. This isn't just like, you know, just the auto industry. I think lots of companies are guilty of this.
Oh yeah,
like Apple is guilty of it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, dude, like Apple,
and they treat their employees so well.
I have an iPhone. I'm not gonna fucking lie. Yeah. You know, I have an iPhone, but it's just, and it's a good product.
Yeah,
but really, like, it's just. It doesn't cost that much.
Did I tell you to get mine fixed, it would cost $150?
Yeah.
Well, it's like I'm buying a new phone for that.
Well, the other thing too, cell phones in general, I think there are some things with cell phones that make them a little more expensive, but it's not nearly what they're charging.
Well, no, just like the whole like miniaturization process,
supply and demand.
But
well,
people want it, they're going to charge for it, you're going to pay it. It sucks.
Unless
you find a mom and pop shop to do it, which you can find around here. You can find mom and pop cell phone that will repair anything for you. Way cheaper than a cell phone company will, but at the same time, you'll void your warranty.
Yeah,
and that scares people.
Apple became,
mine ran out, so it's okay.
Yeah, sorry. they became they built their brand on exclusivity. They're only Apple. You can only deal with that, and somehow people caught onto it and were willing to do that. And now they're a forerunner for a lot of different things with the iPad and the iPhone and stuff like that. And because of that, they can mark up whatever they want to mark up for it. Mm-hmm. That's why I kind of stay clear of it. I mean, I will say that the iPhone's pretty cool, but I won't buy an iPad. You know what I mean? I don't have an iPhone, but I will say that it's a cool product. I think their their iPods are cool.
But like, you know, but like Shake was talking about that. But Shake was talking about, it comes down to exclusivity and necessity. And he was saying for his gig, you know, he said, he said, if he you know, with an Android or whatever, he can do whatever. But all of a sudden, he gets an iPad and he can run his lights and sound from the back of the venue, from the stage, and see how it is, and run it from there.
Yeah.
And that comes down to who's blowing who's selling who's selling who what, and who's gonna sell out to Apple the quickest and get their product just through Apple. You know, and then all of a sudden it's a necessity. Like, well, fuck, man, this is my gig. You know, Shake. I'm a tour manager. You know, I run the whole shebang. I need this now because it makes it so much easier and everyone else can do it. This way I don't have to pay an extra guy, and it's cheaper to go on tour and easier to keep my gig going. You know?
Because Apple, they found their niche and they took the ball and they ran with it. I mean, Apple had a clothing company back in the day.
Right.
You know, and look how well that went over.
Right.
You know? But it's just...
Well, I mean, they also had the Newton. I mean, they had a lot of failed products.
Yeah. But they flooded the market so everything, you know, you put as much out there as you can, there's bound to be some hitters. You know?
I think my biggest little... about this whole subject that gets me going,
I knew that was coming,
is when we talk about necessities, like needs, not wants. Being electricity, like, I mean, electricity is one of those things that Tesla. It was one of those things where they were finding ways to just have it abundant.
Kill people with giant electric coils.
Right. Well, no, seriously, they were finding ways to make it abundant, so it wasn't going to be the expense that it is today.
Yeah. But to me, that's where, like, I mean, I don't know, in a weird way, I kind of look, and like, maybe I'm way off base. But you look back in time and you see, like, older generations where the head of the house, the man of the house, had this general knowledge of how to do shit. Something goes wrong, you can rig it to fix it and make it work on a budget. You didn't need that company to do it. Nowadays, people, and like, to me, it seems like people don't want to do that. They're just lazy and like, well, I can just pay someone to come do it. And that's where the society is. Well, yeah, exactly. Society is feeding into this. I mean, for me, dude, I'd rather than taking my car to have someone else do it and buy the premium part, I'd rather go to a fucking scrapyard, look for a part myself, you know, spend a day off, fucking 6 hours looking for a part taken out of a car, and spend the 3 hours slapping it into my car, because A, all of a sudden I have the knowledge of how to do this myself. Saves me money. B, I have the knowledge to do it for my friends and family. Saves them money. C, I have a skill that's potentially marketable now, and I don't need someone else. I don't have to rely on someone. And we're still reliant on services, which is how it works, which is good, because there's tons of shit. I don't know how to fix a water heater and shit, you know. Yeah. But you look at it, you know, if I learn how, I'd damn well never fucking pay a guy to come fix my water heater again or my air conditioner, you know. And it's just society nowadays is relying more on outside sources. So it's supply and demand, it's marketability, it's to where this generation's lazy. Is that kind of
where I get your statement. I still don't think, like, I think you're building up a time that we weren't a part of. Like, I think there was Joe the plumber, and there was you know what I mean? I think there were specific people, and someone did come and fix the air conditioning unit. I don't think there was one guy that could do everything.
Well, no.
I don't think that was a time.
But the general knowledge of how to do general
I think the knowledge base today is broader and wider than ever before, because it's easier to get.
And I think it might have been more out of necessity than anything. Right. Just because, you know, air conditioners or whatever would break down more often. Right. So you'd kind of have to learn how to do the basic stuff just to keep it running.
Well, at the same time, for me, it comes, I mean, I guess, like I was saying, for me, it's economic situation. Well, and I want to learn as much as I can, how to do as much as I can, because it saves me money in the end, and I'm not giving money to someone to do something I can do.
Well, right. And I brought up how,
but it's a social thing for me, too. I drink beer and hang out with my friends. Yeah. So,
well, I brought up, you know, how whenever you'd go to fill up your car, you know, some dude would check your fluids and check the hoses, all that stuff. So, I mean, think about every single dude who worked at a gas station. He knew how to do that stuff. Yeah. And like I said, it's out of necessity because cars would break down.
Yeah. Right.
But now that cars are more reliable, we don't need all these people who know all that information.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And again, completely agree with your statement, but to an extent that we are getting a little bit lazier as people.
Oh, yeah. That's,
yeah. But, you know, I also think that there's a time management with time and money. Like, so as an example, my buddy Jason, like, he likes to buy these cars. Like, he always buys Grand Ams, which I have no fucking reason why, because they always break down. He spent $500 on the goddamn car, and he spent another, I think, $1,500, $2,000 fixing the car up because it needed everything. Okay, so at this point, you're at $2,000, $2,500 for the car, plus every time he's got a day off, he's got to work on the fucking car. He's got to drive out somewhere to fix it. Okay, to me, when I look at my car, like my car, and knock on wood, I hope nothing happens to it. It's been driving for a long time. I spent a decent amount of money on that car, like $8 or $9 for that car. However, when I go on eBay and I look at a newer version of my car that's got 50,000 miles on it for $3,000, I'll spend $3,000 on a car that I know is going to be more reliable than spend $500 on a car quickly and then eventually put more money into it down the road and then constantly spend my time on the fucking thing.
Yeah.
But cars aren't my thing.
It's different person to person, though.
Right.
You know, like some people, like, I mean, for me, it's...
To me, my time is more valuable to me. Like, I've got very little time that I have off.
Right.
And you're the same. You work all the fucking time. Right. Like, but you also say that you enjoy doing it. I mean,
it's like a social thing. It's a nice thing for you. You know, me and Nick and Dave hang out and drink beer and work on it. It's fun. It's fun. But at the same time, to me, it's valuable. Like I said, it's valuable to me. It's a knowledgeable thing.
Right.
Where if something happens to my car and I know how to fix it, if it happens to your car, I can tell you, like, hey, dude, this is all you need to do. Bring it over here and we'll fucking do it for you and drink some beers.
Right.
And that kind of comes in handy in the sense I talked about. Like, but it is time management. Like, you're absolutely right.
It's time versus money.
If you have the time
for you
to do it.
For you, the time is good. I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's worth the time.
Yeah.
For me, like, one of my passions is doing the photography thing with Death Maidens, and
that's your free time almost.
Yeah, that's all my free time. So I don't have you know what I mean. I rather put a little bit of money. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm putting together a stash or like a savings area to get to about $2,000-$3,000 so that I know that I can turn around another car and I don't have to fucking get a loan because that's a nightmare. Mm-hmm. But yeah, serious time on Podstache.
If y'all have been tuned out by now,
I can pull up some Mad Libs.
Yeah, we can do this. Let's do some Mad Libs. Let's lighten it up a little bit. Let's do some let's do some funny regular ones and just make them dirty. Because that was funny.
Yeah, you want one.
I do. What's going on outside? It's cool over here. Somebody over here.
Come to the cool side of the pillow.
Do you do that actually? The cool side of the pillow?
Yes.
Okay, so do I. Good. If it's getting warm, you just turn your pillow over and it's nice and cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mine really doesn't get hot. Well, that and I have one of those Tempur-Pedic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How's Donut Coop?
Well, that and for a while I had like basically it felt like t-shirt material as the pillowcase, but now I switched to like something that's more like silky.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if maybe that's better.
Yeah. Pillow technology has increased fivefold over the past 10 years. not
I'm
funny.
the track of Bigfoot.
Yes, splooge.
Koopa, what is an adjective?
Let's try to.
Not the definition of adjective, but
Slimy.
slimy.
Right into it.
Hat. Your city or town.
Wait, what? My city or town?
That says your city or town.
St. Charles, Illinois.
St. Charles. Brian, adjective.
Now the government can find me.
Sticky.
Sticky. Plural noun. Whores. Koopa.
Sticky horse.
Food. Plural.
A plural food?
Hammock donuts.
Nachos.
Nachos. There you go.
Zebra cakes.
Way back. Beyond Podstache.
Hat. Singular noun.
Donut.
Donut. Brian. Teacher.
What?
It just says teacher.
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 Brian Lee.
Bob Ross.
I'm Ross. All right. Adjective. Let's go with sleek.
Ooh.
No, sexy. Koopa. Singular noun. God, I hope it says sexy Bob Ross.
Bob Ross, the sexy noun.
Bike.
Bike.
The sexy bike.
Hat. Friend.
Brian.
Sexy Brian Bob Ross.
Sexy bike Brian.
Brian. Past tense verb.
Shat.
Shut. Exclamation.
Shat. Zoinks.
Yikers. I like that one. Koopa. Body part singular.
Nipple.
Penis.
Hat.
Spit the nice penises.
Favorite expression.
Like a phrase expression or like
I don't know. It just says favorite expression.
expression?
While you're thinking, Brian, your principal. Koopa, while he's thinking,
Scowl. Scowl.
Scowl.
Not my favorite, but I do it a lot.
Principal. Who is our principal?
Olsen?
Yeah.
Geese.
Alrighty.
Oh yeah.
See your wacky web tail.
Wacky Web Tail.
On the track of Bigfoot. One slimy day.
Like today.
Hey, yeah, kind of, actually. Our class went hiking along the St. Charles River. That's all right. Like all sticky hikers, we were ready for any emergency. In our backpacks, we carried whores, nachos, and one donut. As we walked along the trail, Bob Ross noticed a sexy footprint. Do you think a bike made these tracks? Bob Ross asked. No, but let's follow them anyway, suggested Brian.
Yeah.
We shat for hours. Then I screamed, "Yikers!" I think I see a huge nipple. Scowl, we heard someone say.
So it was like okay.
Oh, it was Olsen. Olsen, we screamed. We thought you were a huge nipple. Do I look like a huge nipple? Well, as long as you're all here, you can help me look for geese. There are lots of them here along the St. Charles River. We can take them back to school and study them under microscopes. Scowl, everyone said. That was the story.
We shat for hours.
Huge nipple.
Let's see. Do we want to do a crazy night at the library?
Crazy night at the library.
All right.
Sexy footprints.
We'll do the opposite rotation. Brian, adjective.
Firm.
Sexy.
Hat. Verb ending with ing.
Skipping.
Skipping. Koopa. Character in a book.
Boo Radley.
Oh, all right. Verb ending with ing.
Booing.
Fucking?
Splooging?
Nah, I'll stick with fucking. Tempting, but I'll stick with fucking. No, boofing. Brian, character in a book.
King Midas.
King Midas. Hat, your hometown.
St. Charles.
Koopa, character in a book.
Another one?
We are in the library.
Piggy.
Piggy. Your favorite book for me. It's The Driver, but that's not very funny.
Mein Kampf.
Mein Kampf. I have to skip you for this one. Hat. What's
Favorite city?
No. Pet's name.
What?
Pet's name.
Tanqueray.
Tank Array?
Tanqueray.
Like the gin?
Like the gin?
Yeah. Well, no, based off the character in Beavis and Butthead. Because I have two female bearded dragons, Lolita and Tanqueray. Oh. Hey, I'm Lolita. This here's Tanqueray. Y'all want to make out? Yeah.
Brian.
Classy, I know.
State.
State.
Bam.
Alabama.
I'm a man. I thought I told you to shut up, bitch.
Koopa, librarian.
Like a name of a
It
library?
just says librarian. I don't know what
Conan.
they want.
Like another famous.
Conan Librarian.
Done. That sounds like a short to me.
Here, Koopa. Koopa?
I am gone. Talking about accents.
Exclamation.
Scowl.
No, it's got to be
no,
like
that was wrong.
shit or whoa or
Zoinks!
Oh.
Kaboom!
Kaboom!
let's see, for me, past tense verb. Need some-
Past tense?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that makes it edgy and funny.
Rapping.
Diddled.
Diddle.
Hat. Your grade.
Third. Might as well be.
See your wacky web tail. One night, something really firm happened at the library. The characters in the story started skipping from their books. Boo Radley climbed into Charlotte's web and started boofing with Wilbur the pig. Oh,
The level of retard is so weird now.
King Midas wandered into an encyclopedia and ended up lost in St. Charles.
Oh no.
The craziest part was when Piggy wandered into Mein Kampf and said, "Tanqueray." I don't think we're in Alabama anymore. Then Conan walked in and said, "Kaboom!" Everybody back in place. The characters diddled around the room. Just in time. The students in grade 3 came in. Grade 3? Are we in Canada? Came in to get books for their reports. But it was safe. All the characters were back in the books where they belonged.
Conan the Librarian is still amazing. That should be the title of this.
Boofing the pig?
Yeah. Boo Radley climbed into Charlotte's Web and started boofing with Wilbur the pig. And that'll do it for this episode.
All right.
Be right back.
Hey.